And a very good afternoon to you from a rather warm, slightly cloudy, with a gentle breeze afternoon here in London. I'm outside London Bridge Railway Station on Tooley Street, and I've got a couple of hours to kill today. So I had a little look at my latest favourite app, Go Jauntly, and it offered one which said Bridges, Butlers and Brunel. And it's about 6 kilometres long, 4 miles, and it says it will take about 2 3/4 hours. So that's absolutely perfect. It's exactly the amount of time I've got to spend today. So let's head on out, see what this walk has got to offer us. It's another of the urban walks that I do. I'll be back to some countryside walks very, very soon indeed. But first off, we're going to head off down to More London Place. More London Place, it's not a new area, just opposite, off Tooley Street, opposite London Bridge Station, with quite a selection of shops and cafes and so on. And you'll see straight ahead through the gap in the tall buildings there, Tower Bridge, or one of the large portals at Tower Bridge. And the walk begins here and heads off that way, and then we're going to be taking a walk along the Thames out towards the sea. Obviously we're not going to be getting quite that far, but in an easterly direction anyway, on the south side of the River Thames. So let's go, let's see what we see along the way. I'll point out some interesting things, and hopefully I'll see something I haven't seen before. I've had a quick look at the route map, and there's definitely a couple of places around here that I've not seen before, so I'm looking forward to finding those. So apart from the unmistakable Tower Bridge that we're going to come up to fairly soon, you'll see City Hall, and it's quite a good area just around there for sitting down, having something to do if you've got some lunch to eat, or just sit and have a drink, or just watch the world go by. See how many people you can count trying to take selfies with Tower Bridge in the background. You'll lose count after the first million, I should think. It's one of those iconic views that people like to take selfies of, include right up there along with Sydney Opera House, Eiffel Tower, those sorts of places. As you can see, you get some pretty fine views already. So the gardens here seem to be closed at the moment. Not quite sure what that was. Well, that's you can see there's plenty of seating areas around here, and over there, just across the river, that's the Tower of London. So if you come into London and want a good walk, London Bridge is a fantastic place to start any walk. There's so much to see just within the first few hundred yards. But I have to say, that's got to be one of the most ugliest buildings in London. Some may disagree. There's not really much to add to this first part of the walk, really. Just everywhere you look, there's something interesting to take a picture of. There's the City of London over there with its shiny skyscrapers. Not quite Manhattan, but it's getting there, slowly. It's a very early part of May, and it's a Tuesday morning. We just had a bank holiday weekend. London's pretty busy. Well, we don't call it bank holiday, it's public holidays all the way across Europe. So a lot of people on holiday, a lot of people have chosen to come to London. And we're just a few days away now from the King's coronation. So I expect London will get busier and busier as the week goes along. Let's just give you a rough idea of where we are and when this was filmed. As you can see, the usual array of selfies being taken. It's always a great sight. You can look up when it's going to happen, when people have booked it, but the centre span does get raised fairly frequently, more frequently than you might imagine when a tall ship has to go through. And normally you can look it up to find out when there is one, because it is a reasonably spectacular sight. One of the best ones I saw, and I didn't even know it was going to happen. I just happened to be wandering down here one day and saw an awful lot of Polish flags being waved for some reason, and I'm trying to think, why would that be? Is there a football team here or something going on? And it wasn't. It was one of their tall ships, I think a Polish Navy cadet ship that came up the Thames, and it had to go through there. And a lot of the Polish tourists and Poles that live here were all down here waving their flags. It was quite a spectacular sight, actually. Unfortunately, I didn't think to video it that day. Can't even remember the name of it. Darpomorza, I think is the name of the ship. And I think it normally lives in Gdynia on the Baltic Sea most of the time. I only know all this because I was intrigued by it and looked it up afterwards. There's somewhere to get a, let's just say, not so keenly priced ice cream. It's right under the road now that leads on to Tower Bridge. It used to be very rough and ready down here at one time. It's definitely been gentrified with a lot of these warehouses and wharfs and so on, all been turned into high-end apartments. Very, very expensive, particularly the ones that have a view out over the river. But it's a nice area now. I like walking down here. Wind blowing through this passageway. And these are the high-end apartments I refer to. I love a place overlooking the Thames. It'd just be my city pad though. Obviously I'd have the large pile out in the country as well. Butler's Wharf. And right, Butler's Wharf Chop House. I guess you get chops in there. Lamb chops, pork chops. Or they have a big knife and chop things. It gets a little bit quieter once you get down to this side of Tower Bridge. It's got one of the ugliest hotels in London as well, just saying. Can't remember the name of it. I think it used to be called the Tower, or it still is called the Tower. Personally, I'll call it the eyesore, but that's just me. Sure, it's very nice inside. These repurposed wharfs and buildings are redone very spectacularly. As I often say on these London videos when I do one, get the Uber boats up and down, the Thames Clippers. You can pay for them with your Oyster cards. They're not included in your daily cap for the travel card prices, but they are reasonable value. You do get a fantastic view of the London skyline from the river. And there is a hop on and off ticket you can buy. As I say, you just use your Oyster, tap on, tap off, and that part of your journey will get capped at the hop on, hop off price as well. So it is a reasonably inexpensive way of having a river boat tour. If you want something a little bit more expensive with commentary, then there are lots of those too. They're not public service boats, they are purely tourist boats, and they do things like disco cruises, lunch, dinner, that kind of stuff, champagne, for a fee, of course. Already I'm enjoying this walk. I do like it down this part of the along the river. It's always a lot quieter and a bit fresher. Can get quite chaotic from in the other direction from Tower Bridge all the way along to London Bridge and towards Blackfriars and so on. It can be very, very busy along there. So it's sometimes nice just to come this way. And alongside all the high-end apartments overlooking the river, which used to be factories and warehouses and wharves. And in the distance there you can see Canary Wharf. Again, in fact Canary Wharf really, though it's a centre for banking and so on, is worthy of its own little ride. You can get own little visit, I should say. You can ride out there on the Docklands Light Railway, and it is worth going down there. Or combine that with a trip from North Greenwich across on the cable car. And then get the light railway through Canary Wharf back into the city on the north side. The Happy Houseboat. New Concordia Wharf, very nice too. The Harpy Houseboat, not the Happy Houseboat. Need to clean my glasses. That's some balcony, isn't it? A boat sticking out. Just got to come in from the river slightly just here, as Thames Path doesn't stay directly next to the river. It's just how the various warehouses and so on have been assembled over the years. You can already see how busy it was just up at Tower Bridge when this walk began, and how quiet we are now. A few new buildings as well, such as that, and can't quite see over this fence, but I'll raise the camera up. There appears to be a fountain over there. Yes, it says go down Flockton Street. Didn't look much of a street from back there. I don't suppose it is really, but now the walk says to go straight on and that the Thames path is currently closed due to the construction of the new London sewers. Not sure if that's still going on, but if it isn't, then presumably you can go up that way. But I'm directed this way, so I shall keep going this way. So I don't really have sufficient time today to do too many additional diversions or go the wrong way. Yeah, well, they're calling it the Thames Tideway Tunnel route map, but for you and I, that's sewage works, and they end up down there. Well, the contents of which end up down there at Beckton Sewage Treatment Works. We're about here. So I'm guessing if we had gone up there towards the Thames path, there wouldn't have been much you could have walked down, which is a shame. And on this sort of road just in from the river, you'll eventually get to Bevington Street, where we take a left back towards the river again. Seems to be a fairly short section that's currently closed, which is good, because the roads just inside from the river are nothing like as nice as the paths right next to it. We're a 5-minute cycle ride from Rotherhithe, according to that sign. Plane just coming in to land at London City Airport, which is fairly close to here. Got his wheels down, or landing gear I should say. And that's the reason why the Thames path is shut for a little distance there. We have to go and land. Just peer through that building work and scaffolding and so on. You will just see Tower Bridge lurking there in the background. We're going to carry on now along the Thames path towards Rotherhithe. It's a bit of a zigzaggy bit just here. And the beach. Cherry Gardens. Lovely little park this. A nice view across the river to the wharfs on the other side, the city there, Tower Bridge. And this is the remains of King Edward III's manor house. Nicely preserved there. Even if it's been used as a football pitch today. And this, we are actually in Rotherhithe now. And again, some wharves have been converted, but they're not quite as gentrified as the ones back near London Bridge. And I'm sure there's still very expensive properties here. They won't be quite so sky high as they will be back there, but this is a nice area now. Only speculate as to what it was like 100 years ago along here. Just got to a pub called the Mayflower, which apparently is 2 miles from London Bridge. That's 2 miles from London Bridge, not Tower Bridge, which is more or less where we started. So if you did walk down here and you came past London Bridge along the way for the start, you've now done 2 miles. That's possibly a cut-off point for stopping for some refreshment. That looks like a pretty good place to go and do it. Sadly, I've not got the time for that today, so I'll be sailing straight past. And the sign says Mayflower Pub, formerly the Spread Eagle, 1790 to 1957, renamed to commemorate Rotherhithe's role in the voyage of the Mayflower in 1620. Lots of history there. And it sells fish and chips. Oh, and in fact, there's a sign there. London Bridge 2 miles. There you go. Confirmed. And as if by magic, we come out at the Brunel Museum, home to the world's first subaqueous tunnel. A tunnel that goes underwater, basically. That one there. Again, sadly, no time to visit either the museum or the tunnel for me today, but that certainly could be factored into your plans if you were coming down this way. Very, very interesting. I'm going to walk down this way and around it. Apparently there's a cocktail bar too. Whether it's actually open at the moment, I'm not sure. Looks like it's probably closed at the moment. So very possibly worth, it says open daily. It doesn't look very open right at this moment, but probably worth Googling or whatever just to find out exactly when it is open, making your decisions on when you come down here. Right, done a complete 180 now, heading back towards the centre of London, although the route back is going to be more inland and away from the river. So I'm just going to get back onto the path of that, which is down here somewhere. Right, we're heading towards Southwark Park now. This is another park I've not been into before. I've no idea how big it is, whether it's a huge park or a small one, but we're about to find out. Just walking through a housing estate and a footpath that's part of the cycle network here. Well, this part of it is King's Stairs Gardens, and the Southwark Park is actually just over this road over there, through some large gates. So this is looking very promising indeed. Give a little idea as to where we are. We're 7 minutes walk from Bermondsey Tube Station and 12 minutes from Surrey Quays shopping centre. Right, so yeah, this looks a nice park. Just a small matter of getting across this road now. Well, this part looks nice, appears to be well frequented, and just looking at that sign, has got a reasonable set of facilities, including a bandstand. I can see some tennis courts in the distance there, and I did see a sign for public loos over there somewhere, and let's see what else we can find. Plenty of squirrels as well. And a bowling green. Didn't see that on the sign. I just wasn't looking properly, mind you. Lovely to see a bowling green. Shame there's nobody out there playing today. Yeah, Southwark Park Bowls Club, 1908. There's your tennis courts, public tennis courts. Nice park this. It's not huge, just looking at it on the map and how quickly I've got most of the way across now. But considering where we are in London, it's nice. It's certainly a nice green space and plenty of places to run around and roam about. I'm just going to divert slightly off the official app walk. I should have turned right just back there. Just have a little look into this part of the park as well. Should only take a few minutes. I didn't stop in the pub, so I can allow a slight deviation. I'm sure the timings of the walk incorporated a 15-minute swift one in there. Something here that says no dogs. Ah, it's a lake or pond, fountain. Yes, don't let your dogs jump in there. And here's why. Oh, this is nice. I'll just see through there as well. What appears to be a cafe. This is the Ada Salter Garden, and that statue earlier on by the river, that was a statue of her. I'll see some turtles in there. Like you can hire pedalos as well. Appear to be any being hired out today. Probably a weekend thing. And summer holidays and so on. Well, I've got virtually to the far end. I'm going to go around in a circle now back to the sort of roadway that goes through the middle of the two parts of the park. And head off in the direction that the walk was sending me. There's a cafe and some loos just down this end as well, according to that sign there. To my right now is a children's playground, and there are a lot of children in it, even though it is a school day today, but quite a few school kids are not in school today due to the fact there's been some industrial action taking place today, so that will explain that. It's not all school children and all schools by any means, but there are a fair few kids in the playground today. Also seemed to be like a little wet splash pool thing for the really small ones there. Didn't take any pictures of it for obvious reasons, but yeah, it's nice, well appointed park. Got a cafe, loos, bandstand, children's playground, tennis courts and a bowling green amongst other things, so definitely worthy of a little visit and spend some time. And it's round about halfway round this walk as it happens, maybe just slightly beyond halfway. So possibly a good place to stop for a while and have a little break. Sadly, I haven't got time for that today myself. I'm going to crack on now and see what's waiting for us next once I get back on the route properly. Interesting point, this is a little road that goes right through the middle of the park actually. Seems to be a reasonable amount of parking spaces here. And rather strangely for London, you don't have to pay for it, with a maximum stay of 4 hours. Yeah, there you go, 4 hours. So that's not too bad. It almost seems unbelievable you'd be able to find somewhere like that in London, but there you go. Right, that's where I came out of the first part of the park. And the instruction was to turn right, i.e. straight ahead up there. I carried on into this other part of the park over there, just had a little look round. And I'd say this bit to the left is the nicer bit of the two halves. But it's all pretty good actually. We're heading off towards Bermondsey now, and in a general direction back towards London Bridge. Just turning onto Southwark Park Road now, past the Stanley Arms. Nothing much to see along here by the looks of things. I'll come back to you once we get to the next point of interest. Do a bit of a lick of paint on the outside there, I'd say. I'm sure it's even open actually. Somewhere up here it says there's a place called Poppy Hannah where you can get some sushi or flavours for some gelato if you fancy that. I'll stick a picture on if I spot those places before I take, or when I take a left turn onto Jamaica Road. If you want to bail out at this point, there is Bermondsey Tube Station on the Jubilee line that you can finish the walk early if you've had enough. Heaven forbid if it starts to rain. Never rains in Britain really, but you know, you never know, the odd occasion it might do. Pretty subtropical most of the year round. Mustn't have been looking properly. I didn't see the sushi place, but the gelato place was definitely there. And here's Bermondsey Tube Station, which will be, I guess, your nearest tube station to the Southwark Park. Quite lively around this part. Still on the very busy Jamaica Road. I don't think anyone would put this down as the most exciting part of the walk. But we are turning off very shortly, taking a left and getting away from this main road. For the last few points of interest before we get back to London Bridge. As you'll see, there's the Shard straight ahead of us, so getting fairly close. And British Airways City Flyer just turning in for the airport. Never short of things to see around London. If you were to carry on Jamaica Road, you will ultimately come to Tower Bridge, and it's stating 3/4 of a mile, so broken the back of this walk for sure. But the app I'm using, the Go Jauntly app, is sending me left here for a few more points of interest. Frankly, I wouldn't bother walking it. If I didn't want to walk anymore, I'd be getting on the tube. I wouldn't walk straight down there back to London Bridge. I'd either follow this walk or get the bus or tube. Anyway, it's a left-hand turn here at Abbey Street. Let's see what's down here. Just turning off Abbey Street now before you get to the railway line onto Druid Street. And there's that Shard again straight ahead. The Eiffel Tower of London. Everywhere you look you can see that. Used to be the BT Tower or Post Office Tower. That's definitely overtaken it, and it's nicer looking too. Most of South London's railways are above ground on viaducts, and you'll find a lot of businesses under the arches of said viaducts, as seen just here. And some of them are open now, but it does say that on a Saturday all these will be open, and they're like microbreweries, cheesemongers, stuff like that. I see one there called the Grain Store and Spatch and Hob Day, the Arch House Tap Room. So yeah, this is interesting. Not too much open today. I say this is a Tuesday afternoon, and the app definitely does mention Saturdays. So I'm guessing Saturday will be the time to come down if you're looking to try out some interesting food and some microbrewery beers. And it goes on to say that the pub there, the Marquis of Wellington, would be a good viable alternative pit stop in the event of these places being closed, craft beer places and so on. There's another one, craft beer and snack shack. They're not all shut by any means, but as I say, I'll just say again, Saturday appears to be the day when they will all be open. This is where directed actually underneath the railway line and under the railway arches here. There you go. Beer this way. Takeaway drinks. I was rather hoping it would send me up here, and it does. Maltby Street Market. This is a bit of London I've never visited before. Look at this one. Bring your own food and drink great wine by the glass. I mean, I guess you'd go to one of the other places and buy the food. There's plenty of places selling food. Slight sinking of heart when I read signs like that. I'm changing into a travel lodge, but it does look like quite a new kind of building. So it makes you wonder what was there before. I've continued on Tanner Street for a little while and come out at Tanner Street Park, which is right here on my left. It's not particularly big, but again, plenty of seats there. Tennis courts too. Somewhere to just sit down for a little while if you fancy it. Apparently this part of London won the Best Place to Live in London award fairly recently. Not quite sure how recently, but and there's the White Cube Gallery somewhere too. Can't actually see that, but maybe I'll come across it shortly if you like that kind of thing. lot of history in these buildings down here. The bits of London that didn't get bombed during the war.
Actually, in my head, I just...
Woolly Yard. Wool Yard. Well, I think that concludes this walk back at London Bridge Station now, or at least going to be walking underneath it very shortly. That was fascinating and very interesting and well worthy of a few hours of your time. Certainly has plenty of places where you can stop, grab a bite to eat, grab a drink, and if at any point during the walk you want to bail out of it, then it's quite easy to do so with various transport options along the way. Can't see why you would, but your starting point would be London Bridge Station and the end point, London Bridge Station. And joking aside, if you do get lost, just aim for that big thing there. That's London Bridge Station right above us. So thanks for watching. Remember, if you did enjoy this, click the like button. Press subscribe if you want to know about any others I've done, or have a look at the channel. I've got a few hundred videos on there of various things, ranging from country walks, city walks, both in the UK and overseas and various places around the world. And if you've got any suggestions for future walks, then please let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.